What's up, guys? Hey, this is Hot Dynamics. This is a new channel that I created just to go over Cloud9 season this year. I've been following these guys since they hit the scene, and I just wanted to take some time and kind of just go over one of their seasons. And this is especially a good season just because of LS starting to coach them. And I'm a big fan of LS as well. I think this season's gonna be super spicy. So yeah, sorry about my voice tonight. I had my booster the other day, so yeah. So yeah, so I'm watching. I watched EU a bunch today, and so we'll see if we see a lot of Vex. They're countering, yeah, Blabbers, Olaf. Let's see, who do they have playing today? So they got Darshan, Blabber, Fudge, Ven, and Isles. It looks like all of their Korean imports are not going to be here. I heard it's because of visa issues. So it looks like all their NA people that are already there. So typically the roster is going to be Summit, Blabber, Fudge, Berserker, and it's either Isles or Winsome. So it looks like they're going to start with Isles because they don't have Winsome right now. But I think the main roster is going to be Winsome. So we saw a lot of Jinx today in EU. I think we saw a couple games for Renekton as well. Lulu's super strong right now. A lot of enchanters.
Busting out control mages, which is more of that kind of mid lane special. Things even along the lines of LeBlanc will be really interesting to see how much he has actually diversified his pool so far.
Looks like the just fucking around with the Annie. LS.
Some in there, first pick blind.
Regardless, one of the
so we got Jarvan for Blabber.
Back into the competitive scene has been the prevalence of what I was just talking about, where a lot of the carries are high damage carries but low mobility carries. And so
we got a pretty strong bot lane for Golden Guardians with Felios and Nautilus. So far it's a lot of engage.
The bottom lane with the AD carries that are very similar. Jarvan goes a long way in trapping those carries, but you need to have some sort of combination with the champion. So Cloud9 lock in the first part here. We'll see about the bans as they come through, but
so we got LeBlanc. It's probably not going to ban the Vex.
Swapping to mid lane, you're expected to have a smaller champion pool because you haven't had as much time. So whittling down on some of the.
I think Ryan played Syndra a decent amount when he was on Iron Thieves. He subbed in for a while. So we're looking for like a top laner for Darshan. Darshan typically a tank player, so maybe we see some Orin like we did in EU. Renekton possibly.
Or are you going to actually diversify a bit?
Yeah, there's the Vex ban.
This is perfect because for my money, as someone who does not main mid lane, I think Vex is extremely powerful and extremely easy to pick up.
Yeah, you're like, this is the autofill milk tree.
I'm right there because like it for me.
I wonder if they're going to give last pick to Fudge, but it doesn't really matter because Rambo could just hold his until last.
Some of these tier lists as well, as far as very easy but very high impact. And it has
at least a top laner out of
big AoE CC,
and a Golden Guardians right now. The Maokai top.
Mobility with the dash resets with your ultimates, and some of the possibilities.
I haven't really seen Maokai top, mostly support.
Going up against someone who just switched to mid lane is another very good ban to throw out. Very popular right now as well, even among the super experienced mid laners.
And a really good dive buddy alongside the
yeah, so we got probably a Corki mid, but can be flex top, and I think Broken Blade played him top earlier today. Alright, so yeah, so we got Darshan on a tank. It's pretty safe. And Viktor is pretty broken with
I
the
am a
crown
huge
right
fan
now.
right now of both
Alright, so we
Kale
got Kale.
and
Let's be
Viktor
Kale
when
into.
they're
Oh,
matched up
no.
against each other. Slight preference for me for actually the Viktor side of it, but it does come down to the player.
I would
And
be
not
interested
deciding
to see
around it.
Kale top
Again,
actually into a
Corki
Scion.
for
It's
Golden
pretty
Guardian
free
is much
farm
less
lane
of a
for
high
him.
priority because they're facing the Jarvan. And so you
I
have
just don't
more
know
value
if
on your
Chime's going to be able
Valkyrie,
to do
but
anything
instead
versus
of
Scion
1v1,
in lane.
Viktor and Fudge should feel comfortable if they're not influenced too much by the extra roams coming through. Again, Viktor, kind of a shattered queen, goes so nicely with this champion. You can have that extra defensive capability so you can scale, get so much benefit off of even getting assists early on to help him get the Hex Force accelerated. And as long as you get a little bit of a piece
It's a lot of
of
dive
that,
from Golden Guardians.
helps you get to that scale
And Sven has no
quicker. And they
mobility
lock
and
in
really
the
no
tank for the top
protection
lane, Viktor.
besides
This is the big difference in the team
besides
comps today.
Lulu's
Top
ult.
lane difference. Camille for 1v1s for more split pushing, and Sion for Cloud9.
But usually
delivering
Sven has pretty good
huge front
positioning
line to their very
when he
obvious
played on
title
C9
fight.
before.
C9 is all scaling
Last
all
season.
5v5. Sion, Jinx, Lulu, Viktor, all heavily scaling champions. The J4 is the only kind of real splash of early game, but has a lot of added value when you're against things like the Felios, who becomes very reliant on that flash. But yeah, Viktor, so much value out of first strike. It's incredibly easy to outrange champions with the laser and poke with that.
I know this isn't the actual roster, so but it still should be pretty good. Especially against like Golden Guardians. It should be a win, but we'll see.
Corki will have to go fleet instead because you're just not getting enough income from that first strike for it to be worthwhile.
Plus, I really like having that early splash that you're talking about on a scaling team comp be in the jungler so that he can try to facilitate all of those lanes, being able to safely move forward and scale up and get to that point where it's just...
It's kind of hard to be excited about this game just because it's not the actual team, but you know, it is what it is.
Out here in the bottom lane, everybody except for Iconic that is still back in the base. Everybody on C9 just sort of drawing defensive lines.
And actually, Fudge didn't even elect.
It should be also pretty good to see how Fudge plays versus Ryoma. Ryoma's not like the best player, but he's also not like the worst mid laner in the entire league. At least he wasn't when he was when he was playing with 100 Thieves. He's definitely lower tier, but you know, it should be good practice for Fudge. Let's see how he plays.
Yeah, I've actually been a huge fan of the LPL Airy Viktor.
So we got first strike on Corki, which seems to be pretty standard now. Surprised Fudge didn't take first strike on Viktor. He went more for Airy, which is kind of weird.
There you go, on display already. Goes in for the Q, gets the Airy proc. Starts to get a little bit of a health lead right from the get-go.
Got lethal tempo on Sven. Lethal tempo still pretty broken.
That's a good tweet.
Well, a little bit of scrappiness here in the bottom side. 2v2 nice and early. Sven and Isles backing up a bit as Ryoma and Fudge keep having these auto attack trades at level 1. Fudge almost stepping out of the way of the phosphorus bomb there, but that keeps things a little bit more even for Ryoma's sake. Up here in top, we'll have to keep an eye on how well Darshan is able to stack up bonus health as things move forward. He does have that Soul Furnace up and running here from level 1.
I feel like a lot top lane's just going to be about wave control. I don't think that it's going to be a lot of gank potential on either side, unless Darshan pushes up too much. But I think he's going to be pushing until he starts getting more items.
Tanks are really strong in this current season. Some of the wave clear bonus that they actually gave on a lot of the tank mythic items have made them very powerful, and I think Sion is pretty bulletproof against this sort of a team comp. It's very hard for Xin and Camille to actually kill you until you get some real items under your belt.
Meanwhile, Blabber is very far ahead of Iconic in the jungle.
So I mean, top's farming pretty evenly. We got jungle. Looks like Blabber's a little bit ahead, Fudge a little bit ahead. I mean, most lanes are pretty even except for the jungle.
But also then tries to play off of his pushing lanes here. You want to be able to keep this Jinx and Lulu offensive. Because
we'll see if Blabber can set something up here. I guess Iconic's just going to go top.
Much harassment out of your range advantage with your Jinx Lulu early on if you can. Keep pushing up, playing aggressively. He gets full vision coverage for Sven and Isles to keep on pushing in Stixay and Chime, plus makes the fairly efficient route of full blue quadrant down to red side.
We could see the Enchanter versus tank bot lane, how it's playing out now. I mean, how it plays out, just how much prio that Enchanters have against tanks.
Yeah, and Fudge already, Ryoma started longsword 3-pot, and he got through all 3 of those health pushes very quickly. He used 2 dematerialized.
Yeah, we got to see how this
already,
new teleport change comes in. Can only teleport 2 towers pre-14. So a lot more lane bullies, a lot more people that want to stay in their lane. I'm surprised there's no GP. I didn't see if they banned it or not.
Jinx and Lulu are happy to just keep on farming up as this Nautilus tries to engage on him. Ryoma stepping forward here, trying to get plenty of damage down onto Fudge, who again can just back away. The farm here will be dead even if Fudge can pick up all 3 of these, so he's doing just fine.
And I think Iconic needs to have.
Yeah, Fudge really needs to get this lane pushed out. He's got no more potions.
Mid lane around Fudge, if Fudge is going to try and play super aggressively into Ryoma, there could be an opening there as long as you can keep some vision coverage on your side. Maybe you get a Zin's out play in, but a lot on trying to crack that bottom lane, mainly. So Summoner Spell tracking towards that bottom lane. If you can play off of the Nautilus CC, off of one of those hooks to get an early kill and start looking towards your dragons.
Yeah, I think Blabber needs to play towards bot as well.
Blabber, that's why we highlighted so much. His effort in his early path coordinated towards the bottom lane to get them vision for the early stages, trying to make it a little bit.
I really feel like that's the only lane that Golden Guardians can really gank right. It's the bot.
Space for your lost chapter is just so nice on a control mage mid. Doesn't have to go for pieces or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oftentimes you're forced back and just have to grab Dark Seal, Doran's Ring, those type of things. Anytime you can have this base, you're going to be feeling really good about your position in this lane going forward.
Both junglers in the bottom side river about to find one another here. Blabber has to retreat. Zinjao usually wins those 1v1s straight up, and he has Chime right behind him here too. Supports roaming around here a little bit. You can see Isles just now coming back out of the Cloud9 base as Chime is already involved here for Golden Guardians.
Yeah, it looks like Chime already, or Iconic already has his whip.
Where the screen is looking right now, this river coverage, the pathway between mid and bottom, because this is where your support has so much influence. When jungle and support are fighting over this vision coverage for that area, the rewards are tremendous. And so some of those sneaky wards you saw up towards the Raptor pit provide you a lot of value. Cloud9 say, we're not backing down from that fight though. Even with the Golden Guardians moving in first, they also have that super high value on that area of the map to allow for a lot of these roams between bottom lane, up towards mid lane. When you've got stuff like
I feel like it's going to be a really boring,
fall prey to early ganks. It definitely
really boring early game. C9 is just going to sit back and try to scale this entire early game.
Very popular enchanter lanes. When you
And they're playing mostly safe.
yeah, your lane is not going to be pushing as much from
Fudge, as soon as he gets
it's harder in the straight up
a decent amount of Ida, he's just going to be able to wave clear with one laser.
Trying to punish, mid laners that will have to blow flashes and stuff, and so that vision coverage over this kind of highway between mid and bottom is paramount.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, C9 has 4 wards in that river, covering any move that
you gotta pay the toll if you want to come gank.
Exactly. You must be ready to move past.
Yeah, it looks like C9's warding a lot. Just watch for that gank.
Storm dropped on top of his head, gives him the happy Teemo. He's cool with it, but Fudge does maintain.
Yeah, I was like saying that's probably the only lane they could be looking to gank.
Really stick around much more.
This has become such a popular move. With Viktor gaining popularity both in mid and in bottom lane, I can't count the number of times I just see Viktor's on cooldown, just sparing their ultimate. You E-ultimate somebody in lane, and you get a huge damage chunk.
Yep.
They have to back off.
And it
plus
clears
it
the
pushes
wave.
the wave. So it's just this giant momentum play where you gain so much tempo for yourself, pushing the wave, plus chunking them out. It's one of the reasons why it gains so much popularity. It also has the added benefit if you went the first strike that oftentimes you're also outranging them.
Looks like Darshan's doing pretty good up top. He's up decent amount of CS, but he should be able to clean up this wave and catch up. I think he should be fine top versus Tony. Darshan's like one of the better tank players LCS has had for a while.
Darshan ready and waiting here in the tri-brush.
Oh, jeez.
Tony Top's HP waits until the shield wears off to drop the
No.
ulti, but Darshan is without much more mana to work with, so Tony's not actually
Yeah.
in danger of dying.
That was
Darshan
close.
gets the better of him there.
Never mind. We've got some action.
We got some action.
And he looks like he went cleared out all vision.
Possible dive, and then they go for the late hook there into the tower, but they just had the tower targeting on 6A for a second. So as Chime goes in, hits the turret, doesn't draw tower aggro. There's no damage.
Well, looks like Chime Adam got over whatever the summoner or the
I want to echo something that
their builds
on the analyst test for Darshan.
or keystones. Looks like
You know,
yeah, Darshan's is pretty
known him for 10 years playing
typical with
professional
grasp.
and something that's kept him in for the
Same thing
long
with
run
Tony.
is focus on
I
constantly
mean, everything looks
getting
pretty
into
standard
the
for
game. He's been
Golden
so
Guardian
much
side.
time. Never mind.
Ryoma goes in, package
Oh,
delivery,
that was a big.
forces the flash out of Fudge, but Blabber's ready to follow up. Ryoma now in danger, stuck in a cataclysm. The dunk bucket prevails. Blabber's gonna fall.
That
So
was
it's
close,
1 for
though.
1. Fudge trying to get further away as Iconic goes further in. Gravity well.
Oh, we got the flash on the outside. That was pretty big.
Fudge gets the flash. And oh, we got a bloody one here in mid.
Yeah, very even, but it's going to go slightly C9 favored as Fudge stays alive and will be able to push this out.
Yeah, it's gonna deny a decent amount of minions from Ryoma. He does have his TP up. He might have the TP right away.
Fudge just barely getting away and almost actually taking Iconic down at the end.
Yeah, I mean, if you do get trades,
Yeah, he'd be able to pick it up.
As we kind of talked about before, even a slight extra benefit for Viktor there towards the hex score, but the junglers are the ones who win the mid lane trades, coming away with both of the kills.
Yeah, he's able to get his package off.
Does touch him there just with the tip, with the package in. Then Blabber knows he can follow, has the red buff smite on him, so starts to try and walk away, see if he can make it out with possibly getting the health advantage and extra damage there for Fudge to be able to win the last 1v1, but does at least get the flash out of Iconic because he was very scared about the cooldowns coming back up from Fudge.
And then yeah, so we got grass for Darshan.
Flash out of Xin, which makes Xin much more
Airy is really the only one that I was
repeat plays, especially if you're continuing to fight over this river.
thought that he would have went first strike on that one. Lethal Tempo, Arion, Isles, Conqueror on Blabber. Mostly pretty typical.
You know, if you just hit one laser to the back line on someone like Ryoma or Stixay, you get the Luden's proc, you get the Airy proc. It can be pretty difficult.
I'm surprised that Golden Guardians haven't put more prio on Dragon.
So against Corki, for me, I drop Shadow Screen value by
Like C9's fine to just sit back and scale and not worry about Dragon. Oh no, Darshan, he's in a horrible position.
Well, never mind. We've got Darshan in a 2v1. Good knock-up.
Okay, they immediately walk in. They wait until he's already used ult to use the Hex Tech ultimatum and lock him down, but he's just too
Yeah,
tanky.
it's too silent. Yeah, I mean, that was a horrible position on the wave, and they still couldn't lock him down long enough.
Uses that time to walk his way out, and you're absorbing so much pressure there. He's a tank on top side. He's winning in CS. He's absorbing jungle ganks, so while the rest of the team gets an objective.
Yeah, I mean they gave C9 the Dragon.
Just in a very unflashy way for a role that is more isolated than ever.
They're gonna trade Rift.
It's just one of those things where when you're playing double physical damage topside and they have some early HP, they have the
apparently not. Apparently he can't hold the Rift in the right spot.
Really threaten Darshan. So you know until Tony Top has his mythic completed, starts to get some real threat on that empowered Q. You know, with the true damage, it's not really worth going up there. It's just trying to get Tony farming and see what we can get done later on.
This feels like banging your head into the wall that is Scion, but Blabber's up here now. He's ready to go.
Oh.
Poor timing on Cataclysm.
Yeah, gonna be some very slight cooldowns used there. Jarvan not gonna have that same threat maybe towards one of these flashless members.
That's I think it's just hard. Like Darshan didn't have his ult.
It is a little bit of a drop in the bucket. They know after that reset, Xin Zhao back onto the other side of the map, so he's still going to focus on getting the Rift Herald objective while bottom side does pay. Stixay happy to knock off turrets by hand, earning himself that gold this way and bringing Iconic down for good measure to once again.
There's bleeding plates bottom now.
Dive, but when Isles has the ultimate here for Lulu, plus they still have double summoner spells on Sven, it is pretty risky unless you're bringing like package Corki down to complement your.
Yeah, this Aphelios is clearing out waves way too fast.
It's definitely a high risk sort of situation for Golden Guardians, and with Stixay taking some tower shots, back right off with just the Krug steal.
Yeah, and I mean, if they can't kill the tower prior, Tony Top has actually held onto his TP, and that's going to unleash, you know, in 35 seconds here. So there is the opportunity to try to look for.
I was unfortunate I didn't share any gold with
now just dropping that
Darshan.
trying to get the charge off before the plates do fall, getting a little bit of gold.
They're trying to get it right before the 14.
I say, Golden Guardians doing pretty well here. Obviously, there are a lot of subs in for the Cloud9 side also, but they do have their.
It looks like Hami Darshan's doing fine, 125 to 19.
And I have seen these subs.
Blabbers up a little bit. Fudge is pretty much even. Bot's pretty even. I mean, everybody's just sitting back, scaling this whole time.
From C9. Meanwhile, Darshan, obviously one of the longest-standing veterans himself.
You already said you've known him for 10 years. Yeah.
First time since 2019 spring that he's played in the LCS, though, so it's been a while for him.
Yeah, it's pretty sketchy to walk through.
You know, some very familiar subs on the side of Cloud9. Just a little bit on the Rift Herald activation 2 for Blabber. I do always, really like, you know, trying to get off as quick as possible for the gold before 14 minutes so you get your turret plate money. The only thing I will caution against, a lot of people can make the mistake of.
It's been a pretty boring early game. Most of this gold is just off the plates bottom.
That early Rift Herald when you're trying to get it in when a top laner is recalled just to cash in on plates, and you don't time with the minion wave, and your Rift Herald goes.
I feel like this is going to be one of those games where nothing happens for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and the one fight's going to decide it.
Yeah, so that's the one thing you will say. Preface that with Blabber paid very good attention, watching your own minion wave. You know where the opponent minion wave is, so just to avoid that pitfall that can deny you that big cash-in of turret plates. Meanwhile, Cloud9 happily scaling on bottom side. As you said, though, Zil, Golden Guardians pretty happy with the situation, especially from the early stages. You've got your Corki stacking up the Muramana. When that thing transforms into Muramana, you feel like a new man.
Just blowing package, clear the wave.
To be clear, I mean, if Felios and Corki are no slouches, I do think C9 has a much better 5v5. But Golden Guardians is going to have the advantage in a 4-1 type situation, right? Camille can scale up to that point where you can be winning that 1v1 against Sion. But to be honest, it takes a couple items generally to really be threatening Sion. And then you're trying to win through sides, you're trying to win through finding.
So we got whip on both junglers. Pretty typical for Camille. Mirror Mana on Corki, or Mana Moon, Felius, Gale Force.
Probably the scariest
There's Kraken.
for Golden Guardians' perspective is that it is very easy for Cloud9 to force plays.
I'm pretty sure Kraken's a pretty default for Jinx, but they don't really have that many tanks. I might have actually liked to see a Gale Force versus that team. Well, unless he gets a reset, it's not gonna. He could just get run down.
See about the triple person blast.
And then we got Ludens on Viktor.
Call off that play.
I like the fact that they were looking for it now, though, because the Drake is about to spawn. 5 seconds left. Of course, bit unfortunate for the Golden Guardians that Cloud9 was there, ready to go to respond.
It's a bad back for Golden Guardians.
It will be C9 picking that one up. Remember, this has been a 100% objectives game for the side of Cloud9 so far. 2 Drakes. 1 Rift Herald, no turrets taken yet by either team. Tony Top continuing to pressure up top, and here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Quite a, what is the word? Controversial.
Oh no, we'll see how this Drake goes. I haven't seen it yet.
One of the biggest complaints I see levied against this online, of course, is how it favors the team that is ahead due to how it interacts with vision and allows you to control the map that much more effectively.
Exactly. It's very difficult to actually defend your own quadrants. You lose some of these side brushes that you used to be able to kind of just hold a pink in and try to hold as a defensive.
Darshan's spacing is so good in his takes.
It's very easy for the winning team to move into that section, to take away camps, and you don't really have the forewarning of that. Also, to make matters worse, you know, on red side, that kind of area where the fog is where you wanted to control to be able to actually check if the blue team is doing Bear. Right. You lose access to that as well. And the Soul is really tough to team fight into. You know, that Scion passive essentially, being able to use spells on top of that, make it even more powerful.
It's actually the first one I've seen with this Drake up, so we'll have to see how it goes.
Not really an option if they get it.
I will add that the designers tried to add some sort of answer in these extra little scryers blooms that pop up with it now. So we're gonna look at that as some data from pro play here in this game. And on top of it, it's one of the most painful dragons to see pop up as the soul for a tank team. So Darshan is going to
Kind of
be
would have
a
liked
little bit
to see
less
Isles just stay
happening for
bot
this one
instead
than
of
it does
roaming.
when
I
you
don't know
have
how
versus
much
higher
value that
targets, and Darshan is always going to be the
you're gonna
highest
get on a
target.
Lulu roaming
So they
versus a
need to do a little
Nautilus
bit more, effectiveness for Golden
instead of just
Guardians to
pushing in that
really
lane most of the time.
for them and trying to fight the tank fight.
Yeah. I mean, the way I think about it is it's basically giving you cut down, right? And same thing with the fog. You get damage against people that have more HP than you, so it works very similarly to that rune, and it can be pretty effective if you do get a fight like Camille against Zion in that area.
Blabber's going in as Iconic is forced to flash away from the Cataclysm, so that means he'll at least get away from it, but Cloud9 picking up a free flash there.
Yeah, I'll trade that flash roll.
Chime now in the river. We'll see if they end up seeing much of him. Nope.
But they're losing the waves mid and turret.
Applies pressure onto the mid lane tier 1 turret. Normally for maximum damage, Aphelios gets as close as possible to the turret, but he knows Cloud9 is on the way. He does not want to extend any further than he would have to. That turret
Blue-white.
standing 19 minutes into the game. No turrets taken, either team.
It's been a very slow and steady game. But
I feel like this whole slow game is maybe just because how LS wants to play it.
Cloud9 is going to be happy to 5v5, and
How have they been scrimming?
To be there for this next dragon, for Cloud9 to set up their positioning. And if Golden Guardians isn't first there, it's so incredibly difficult to actually enter the river through Chompers, through Gravity Field, through Viktor lasers, through this Scion. So they're going to have to find a different way in.
Yeah, and plus, when you're looking across at the Golden Guardians with their gold advantage, that advantage has to manifest in items in inventory when you have that big fight. Or else it actually just means nothing for them. So unless the breakpoints really come to fruition before this big fight, the setup and the composition here for Cloud9 do look pretty advantageous. Golden Guardians, though, you will say, with that gold, we'll see if it does mean the difference between
I think most of it has got to be on Aphelios with those plates.
Very big difference, especially for something like the Camille or like the Corki here. Stixay has at least been able to get Last Whisper for the Aphelios.
Yeah, this is a pretty Korean game. You can tell how much LS is contributing to the style of play. Not a lot of ooga booga going on.
With if they can get a Chemtech Dragon, if they can position in the fog, and he's also got Last Whisper, those are the sorts of things that you have to try and add up to
both towers.
Yeah, we got
pretty big for their soul laners. I mean, Ryomo
Camille's getting a little bit
his Luden's complete now whenever he wants to actually base. I'm not sure how much gold Tony
get a little bit ahead now. I don't know why Darshan's not completing his item.
Both these guys are going to be on 2 items for that next dragon fight, which is really big for Golden Guardians and leads me to believe that they may want to contest it.
Yeah, we're talking about the advantages for Cloud9.
Blabber's got a decent lead. Fudge is a little behind, so we got 2 items on Aphelios now.
I'm not feeling bad about fighting for this third Drake if I'm them.
Yeah, if I was Golden Guardians, I'd probably definitely fight for this. Looks like they have that item advantage for sure.
The completion of the Ludens for Ryoma, trying to poke them out before the objective.
They're looking here. Chime gets away. Ryoma still getting whatever poke he
can find. Past 48-14 teleport finally.
Huge factor in how this fight could end up playing out is the usage.
I still need to clear out mid.
Ryoma takes a little bit more poke there from the Jinx zap. Cloud9 all grouped up.
Like there's nobody clearing out mid. They're just gonna go for. They're gonna leave trade the tower. Yeah, they gotta do it way faster than this. Yeah, they just gave up mid lane for her.
Here we go, baby!
Ready to rock.
Let's light it up!
Tony top on the flank.
Chime's leading the way. Tony's coming around.
Oh, this is horrible position.
Half HP. Ryoma having to fall back here. Gets hit by the not fully empowered Q as Iconic goes in and he's ready to find.
This Van already flashed. They still gotta watch that Camille in the back.
Chime's gonna be the first to die. Traded away for Fudge. Ryoma over the wall looking for the damage.
We gotta turn on Tony.
Not grabbing anything.
That's good. Okay,
As it will be traded back at least once. Sven is down.
We got a 3 for 2, not too bad.
Out of the picture. Ryoma and Stixay are alive, but they are the only 2. And
Nice.
will win that fight and earn Drake number 3.
And they don't have the tools yet to kill Darshan. The bodyguard is going to be able to ward off everybody from poking around.
I really would have liked them to push out mid first and then go in, but
they will deny
is what it is.
Bonus to Golden Guardians, which would help with that Darshan problem that they have. And this is one of the things we are kind of discussing as far as the Corki builds. let's go over the fight one more time, though, because Fudge is going to annihilate the...
That's pretty preemptive.
He does have to flash early on, but take a look at this. Gets hooked in, immediately blows him up. There goes the poke landing, though, from Corki as Ryoma gets the high ground and moves up. And with the Luden's build...
Yeah, Fudge got Blab pretty soon.
With the rockets coming through, but he's already gotten chunked out, so they can't follow through with the river fight, and then it's just your frontliners there, deep in with the rest of the Cloud9 team. So C9
I don't know. I think
take the extra kill.
they got pushed into that that wall because of the Camille flank.
That one rocket over the wall did about 40% of his HP, allowed them to actually finish him off, and they got the flash off of Fudge. They got the flash off of Sven. So these carries don't have it available. If they're able to find some sort of an engage, they have flashes on Tony Top, on Chime, on Iconic. They can look for place.
So the thing in this damage graph that I'm looking at, I mean, your eyes can be immediately drawn towards Corki for having 1,000 damage higher than anybody else, but I'm looking at Tony, 462. He did less than Lulu, barely more.
Oh, it's horrible.
The Camille was completely contained.
Like, just get I don't know why he wasn't able to go in. He should have been on. He should have been on Jinx.
I was like, just don't mess it up. And
Jinx
sure enough, we got
blew his flash.
Yeah,
Fudge blew his flash.
Contrast to Darshan's performance soaking all that damage. The difference in top lane impact there in that fight.
It's looking like a shark on land.
Yeah, like
just flopping around
that's not
over
where they're
there.
supposed to be, Isaac. They belong in the
Back
ocean.
in the water, Tony.
Yeah, get him back in the river. Set that poor shark free. But it is still a game that is now getting very scary.
I just think he doesn't want to be the person that ends that fight. And I think it hits his first LCS game as well.
3 minutes until that spawns. 25 minutes into the game now, as Tony Top will continue pressuring this bottom side. Darshan's happy to just stay in this side lane against him, farming up, continuing to stack HP to become scarier and scarier.
Oh, and Fudge picks up the blue. Let's go.
Because, he's in this flanking position trying to find an angle, but the rest of Golden Guardians don't have the spearhead to start the fight out. Yeah. That's why I was pointing out. Chime is the only other, like super tanky one. Iconic tries to rely on his ultimate, but Fudge, even though he gets hooked in, 2 shots Chime.
Got 3 minutes on Dragon Soul.
Kind of other point of pressure for the team fight really to hold stability for Golden Guardians. That's why, Tony has a hard time getting in, and then you're kind of left out to dry as Iconic. You're a Xin without a flash, and you're in the middle just as your ultimate expires, and you start to get burned down. So that's the advantages that Cloud9 have when they set up their team comp like this with 2 very robust frontline members for their fight, and why they felt so confident in playing the early stages the way that they did, now setting up for a possible soul point.
Yeah, and I think some credit as well to Darshan. He did a good job actually marking Tony. If Darshan is actually just full on frontlining in the river, that he can maybe find that flank and just jump onto a carry. But Darshan was always placing himself in between the Camille and his carries. You have to run past the Scion, then you get polymorphed and Jinx is killing you. It's a difficult position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, and again, with Ryoma, since he has gone with the poke build with the Ludens there, he's constantly trying to weave his rockets around this fat body.
It should be about the
Everybody's trying to
time that C9 starts scaling, finishing up their scaling or getting into their scaling.
I'm not dealing with that today.
Tomorrow you's going to be upset with today you come tomorrow.
It definitely is.
And Jinx is on 2.5 items.
Okay, he'll deal with it later.
Fudge is on 3 items already.
Coming here in about 71 seconds or so, because that's when our 4th Drake of the game spawns, and that's what the Golden Guardians absolutely must stop. Darshan, nearly 4,000 HP here on the Scion.
Oh, Blabber.
Stixay's not able to get away. He is trapped and exploded inside the Cataclysm.
Oh, that was beautiful.
But the gravity well locks him down. Cloud9 have found 2 kills and a mid lane turret for free.
Blabber is doing his job on Jarvan so extremely well for Cloud9. Another good use. Flash engage here, ultimate through. Guess what? Your Aphelios, Stixay there, annihilated. Has the summoner spells available. I believe the flash sliver was still on cooldown, so had the
I mean, I like that they're still pushing, even though they could sit back and just wait for the dragon fight.
Timing on the side of Cloud9 for Blabber forcing that engage and getting a good timing to allow them to
But yeah, it works. I think that Blabber is going to be extremely good with this team as long as they could.
Objective, good force from them. 14 seconds left on that dragon.
And even though Aphelios is respawning, he won't be able to get there in time. You would
that's a flash out of Iconic. 6 seconds on Dragon. That means no. No flash on Iconic for the Dragon.
Cloud9 has the position. Tony Top is the only one here immediately. Chime will be the second man to enter into the river. Tony Top getting away for now.
Oh,
As
they just let him through.
Stixay's going to be kept out of the fight by the Chompers, but
And now that's Camille out of the fight.
That rocket low, as now Darshan's trying to stand and
That's
fight.
Iconic down.
Be killed off immediately. Blabber's going to be taken low. Blabber is down. Cloud9 looking to protect the Drake and secure the fight.
That's a TP back from Tony.
Now you got Tony Top ready to go right back.
Oh, that's the Dragon Soul.
Manages to pick up the Drake. Tony Top's running around trying to find the kills. Here's Zombies Van. Shutdown goes over, and it does not matter. 11-7 with an ace plus soul for Cloud9.
And the only one that doesn't die is the one that's got an extra zombie passive.
Triple zombie Scion.
Darshan
Yep, there's the
doesn't
soul.
have to use his Zion Spartan zombie or his extra Scion zombie. He's the last one standing. They get the soul. That was the main goal. And look at this. You're going to talk about Fudge.
Look at this big one, though.
Tony out of the
I wish he wouldn't have blown the ult on it.
He gets this rocket here, coming up on his Ven. Valkyrie's around. Look at that! That was like 2,000
That's a huge damage.
Between Isles and Sven there. But then the problem is, he didn't actually have the Valkyrie. The cooldown is fairly long. We get the
As Sven picked up resets.
Sven is piling through. Tony Top TP.
Ooh, those rockets.
At the HP on that Dragon down to 200. Tony could have taken it potentially. And you won round 1 against Sven, but you didn't win round 2.
I love it too, Sven.
Yeah, Sven's got, that's the same, man. Sven's positioning is pretty good.
Like, just get me away from these rockets. I mean, that is why people, this build got so popular.
Yeah.
Shout out to your boy Midbeast with the YouTube videos getting this Corki build popping. People want
I think at this point the game should be over.
Take a rocket onto the backline, onto the Corki. That's where the big value is. But it's really, can you make it count?
Whoa, yes.
Darshan
wasn't even there when they started this fight.
Darshan's ready to join in as Chime has been removed.
I don't know why they're chasing.
Iconic with the flash over the wall. Double kill back over to Sven. Darshan continues the chase. Stixay continues to run. He'll get cut down as Darshan just keeps going. Blabber's low, but he ain't out of the picture just yet. 3 for 1 C9.
All right, you always just gotta have to keep your eyes on the Rockets in this game. That's what's gonna keep it exciting. Because with Chemtech Soul, Cloud9 have this overwhelming team fight advantage.
Darshan's just gonna chase him down.
Corki gets yeeted up into the air. Ryoma's got 200 HP. Darshan is still
Let's fucking go.
Baby. Slam him over the head with the hammer.
Darshan with the shutdown. 5-0 and 5.
I know Darshan's super hype right now, probably.
Players, top 10 in games
And that's gonna be Baron.
Has been around since the very beginning.
I think that Blabber probably should have waited a second for Darshan to TP, but it turned out okay, I guess.
We were going to try and talk about earlier is, how much work he has put in to stay this long. It takes so much effort to remain relevant. Here's another look at how it started out, though. Blabber's going to have even more confidence in going forward in a lot of these, that he does have the stopwatch on top of having
Zin
Chemtech Soul, so he goes
kind of
so
fucking
deep, goes in on his 6A to try and get
zoned them with his ult.
Summoner spells out, and Darshan just gets to run rampant. Again, if you're leaving that sign as a problem for tomorrow,
flashes right over.
Guess what? Tomorrow just comes and hits you in the face inside the fog of the Chemtech Soul as well, and he gets to run through the entire map. Choo-choo!
What's he doing now?
He's so far ahead of the rest of the team, but it don't matter. The man's got 5,000 HP. They just can't kill him. Darshan continues leading the charge here. Ryoma losing 2/3 HP, having to balk away to safety.
Yeah, this is his wheelhouse right here. He doesn't even give a shit.
Everybody's ready to go. Tier 2 turrets just about gone. Blabber putting the pressure onto Chime. Chime gets away just barely. Ryoma doing the same. Cloud9.
I guess Blabber has his GA now, so that's fine.
They got the wave coming up from behind. They're looking for the inhibitor turrets.
He's a tank of the tower. Darshan doesn't need to wait for the team. He is the team. He's got so much health.
The tower can't even deal with his shield. It couldn't even break it. And it looks like with that presence,
maybe they just take this, rotate mid.
This objective, guess what? They still have a minute and a half left on this Baron buff.
They're gonna try to cheese him.
Extra waves to continue to push.
Blabber now.
Fishing around for another engage.
Blabber's very low now. However, they do have to be mindful of this. Backing away now on that one, allowing Blabber to go back, reset, heal up.
Well, I wonder how many fucking conversations that LS has had to have with Blabber.
Still a minute and 15 seconds remaining on the Baron buff for the side of Cloud9. So that will almost transition perfectly into the Elder Spawn.
Yeah, it's just so difficult for Golden Guardians because, again, one of their like surprise ways out of
Hopefully they can get back out here, push out lanes, maybe push up mid.
Backline. But guess what? That doesn't even matter because then you would have to kite them afterwards because the backline will just get back up even if you get those sniper rockets or you get that, you know, lucky kill onto some of the backline carries there for Cloud9, and there's no way you're going through Darshan. Stixx's going to try his best, but even the Aphelios with
Actually,
the
mid
armor
tower, I
penetration
like to see
is still
mid
gonna have
inhib
a
tower
hard
as
time.
well.
Here we go. Cloud9 looking for even
Jesus,
more.
dude.
Stixx has to get the hell out of town. He's got 200 HP remaining. Sven's being pressured by Iconic, but Iconic immediately has to retreat. Cloud9,
Yeah, as I'm saying, like, there's no way they can keep coming here.
push. There comes your combo with the flash from Blabber, knocking him up and keeping this going
game's over.
forward. Golden Guardians, there's just nothing left in the
Well,
tank.
it's not the game that I wanted to see, but
Darshan
it's not a
loves
bad
these
start.
shots so much, I think he just took about 20 of them.
It's nice to
and
see
he's still
Sven
got
back on the stage
2,000
again.
HP left. They've got Fudge back in the fight now, and Cloud9's looking to wrap this one up.
They certainly are.
I'll be interested to see how Berserker does, but yeah, I mean, Sven did pretty well.
And there they go. Number one, it's down. Tony Top goes in. He's trying to find the damage on Sven. Hextech ultimatum at least gets him. Plenty of shields coming out from Lulu. Yes, the Jinx dies, but no, she's not dead for real. Zombie form is ready to go. Throws out a little bit of damage, but won't get much. GG, well played. 34.
Yeah, well, 35-minute game, 34-minute game. Yeah, it's basically what I predicted is a 30-something minute game. One fight wins it.
And Golden Guardians could never actually divert them from that. They were never able to cause any havoc in the side lanes. To draw
Yeah,
back
so
away
you know,
from
I'll be
that.
doing
And really, you just ended up having this
just these kind of VOD reviews, or
That's why I mentioned you're not really
going over them as they play.
Thousands of gold deficit because they have two best-in-class frontline tank AD carries.
Then yeah, I'll try to get up any content for Cloud9. Hopefully, you know, the Korean boys can get in here soon, so we can start seeing Cloud9's actual team. And yeah, I'm hoping for a good season this year, or a good couple of splits, and then yeah. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe to this, I know it was a little under the weather, but you know, hopefully the next couple ones will be a lot better. Alright, take it easy guys.